In my past life, I adopted Su Liao as my foster daughter, yet she brought ruin upon my family. My husband and I exhausted our family fortune to treat her illness, only for her to kill our biological child. After she once again failed to extort money from us, she revealed to me the truth about my child's tragic death, then with a smile pushed me down the stairs. After my death, she had my husband committed to a mental institution and swindled my parents into massive debt. Given a second chance at life, I sent her straight back to where she belonged. If you can't appreciate the good life, then get the hell back to where you came from. To my surprise, when I opened my eyes, I had been reborn on the very day I first picked up Su Liao. At that moment, my husband Su Zheng looked up at me, his eyes twinkling like stars. Honey, since you want to adopt her, let's give her a name, he said. What should we call her? How about Liao? Luth represents eternal happiness, and Yao symbolizes precious jade, embodying beauty and rarity. Let her be our forever happy little princess. Su Zheng's face was filled with anticipation for the future. At this moment, he hadn't yet grown the white hair of his previous life, nor had he descended into the madness of being confined to a mental hospital. In the prime of his youth, he hadn't yet suffered half a lifetime of hardships. When he saw I didn't respond, he lowered his head again, gently soothing the child in his arms. My eyes grew slightly moist. In our previous life, we had just gotten married when we found Su Liao. Even without biological children of our own, we still chose to adopt her. Born with a cleft lip requiring surgical treatment and abandoned too long in the snow, she suffered persistent high fever at that time. To treat her, we exhausted all our savings and even borrowed substantial debts under the disapproving gazes of our relatives. After being discharged from the hospital, she not only needed regular items like formula and diapers but also required various medications for ongoing treatment. Moreover, she was a high-needs baby who would cry incessantly at the slightest disturbance, making it impossible to leave her unattended. Su Zheng's parents harbored deep resentment towards Su Liao, believing she had burdened us, and they completely neglected their adopted granddaughter. Helplessly, I had to quit my job and devote myself entirely to taking care of her. A crying baby needing constant care, and me unable to work because of childcare. The entire family's burden fell on Su Zheng's shoulders. Under such immense pressure, we had to give up on having our own child. For this, Su Zheng endured countless curses from his parents. To protect Su Liao and me, he even lied to outsiders, claiming he was infertile. We suffered endless gossip and slander, but never wavered in our love for Su Liao. And how did she repay us? Later, when she became independent enough to go to school alone, I can also go to work to improve the quality of life for our family of 3. As our lives got better, my husband and I discussed having a second child. After learning about it, she secretly put contraceptives in our tea. Later, she even went to our workplace to make a scene, trying to force us to give up on having a second child. Unfortunately, we were determined to have a child of our own. She didn't succeed that time and cried, saying she was wrong and would never throw tantrums again. Faced with the child we had raised ourselves, crying heartbrokenly, my husband and I believed her. Not long after our son was born, she behaved cheerfully, actively feeding her younger brother with formula, changing his diapers, and even offering to wash his clothes. She said, "Mom worked so hard back then, doing so much for me, now it's my turn to share Mom's burden." We were very pleased to see her grown up and sensible. Little did we expect that a few months later, her younger brother would be smothered to death in his cradle by her. After our son passed away, my husband and I seemed to age decades overnight. Unaware of the truth, despite enduring the agony of losing our child, we still treated her with all our hearts. As she grew into adulthood, her demands on us became increasingly excessive. When we could no longer afford her living expenses, she turned to borrowing nude loans and usurious debts everywhere. When debt collectors came knocking at her door, her first thought wasn't repentance, but coveting our inheritance. She said, "Mom, Dad, I know I was wrong. This is the last time. If even you won't forgive me, I might as well die." Our hearts softened once more, and we opened the door to welcome our beloved daughter. Little did we know, what entered wasn't a person, but a starving wolf. She hadn't behaved herself for long before she tricked my husband out again and revealed the truth about how my child had died tragically all those years ago. She gestured wildly with excitement, vividly describing how her brother had struggled and how he had stopped breathing. I stood right beside him, watching his face turn red, his little hands finally going limp as he slowly stopped breathing. If I could do it over, I'd make sure he died even more painfully. I rushed forward intending to fight her to the death, but she pushed me off the building with a backhanded motion. and just like that, my life was over. After my death, my husband was utterly heartbroken. He lost his child in middle age and his wife in old age. He began showing signs of depression, and Su Leyao took advantage of this to have my husband committed to a mental institution. She still wasn't satisfied and even tricked my parents into taking on massive debts, yet ironically, such an ungrateful wretch ended up living a carefree and extravagant life. Suppressing the hatred in my heart, I cursed outright, "What precious jewel, what rotten luck, honey, I don't want to adopt her anymore." Su Zheng was slightly taken aback by my words. "Wasn't it you who wanted to adopt her just now? Why the sudden change of heart?" I snatched the child from his arms and stared at the crying Su Leyao, saying, "I suddenly remembered something I heard. Some children are born to seek revenge, and these wicked children might be cruel because they inherited it from their parents. Darling, think about it. If we had a child, would we casually abandon them, even if they weren't smart, healthy, good-looking, or seriously ill?" Su Zheng immediately responded, "Of course not. Even if we had to sell everything we own, spend all our savings, or even borrow money, I would never give up on them, right? That's how normal people think." I took a deep breath. As for this child's parents, they're not even human. There's no guarantee this child hasn't inherited their genes. The idea of rebirth is too unbelievable, and this era isn't open-minded enough. Few people could accept or digest it. Besides, my attitude just now was unusual, completely different from before. If I bring up rebirth now, no matter how much Su Zheng trusts me, he'd think I'm insane. "Alright, you're right, let's not adopt then." Su Zheng nodded in understanding. The Su Leyao in my arms seemed to understand our conversation and cried even louder. The tiny figure's face was streaked with tears, wailing heartbreakingly, her little hands flailing desperately in the air, trying to grab hold of my clothes, as if only by doing so would we not abandon her. Seeing this, Su Zheng also showed reluctance on his face. "So what should we do now?" I carefully considered Su Zheng's issue. If we abandon Su Leyao here now and someone takes her away, another kind-hearted person might suffer misfortune, but this possibility is quite low, especially in this era where son preference remains prevalent. Moreover, Su Leyao has an unattractive appearance and suffers from persistent high fever. No one would bring trouble home with them, but letting her freeze to death in this snowfield would be too merciful. I couldn't let go of the grudges from my past life, yet the other party was just an ignorant infant. Even if I took revenge, she wouldn't know. After much deliberation, I thought of a good place for her. "Honey, let's send her to the orphanage." A flash of hatred crossed my eyes. Su Leyao once told me, to gain my trust, that if it weren't for me and her father bringing her home, she might have lived in the hellish conditions of an orphanage. And she was deeply grateful to us for rescuing her from that hell. This time, I don't need her gratitude. I just want to send her back to where she belongs. Su Leyao was still crying, gasping for breath between sobs. Su Zheng saw her pitiful state and struggled internally. "Honey, she's crying so miserably." Naturally, I wouldn't let him continue wavering and directly cut him off. "Darling, there are too many pitiful people in this world. We're just ordinary folks. We can't save them all. It's a kind act that we're sending her to the welfare center with good intentions." Su Zheng had no choice but to nod in agreement. Soon, Su Zheng and I arrived at the entrance of the welfare center on our bikes. As soon as Su Zheng parked the bike, I carried Su Leyao to the flower bed near the entrance. Su Leyao, who had cried herself exhausted, began wailing hysterically again upon seeing this. I curled my lips into a cold smile and unceremoniously placed her on the flower bed edge. As I straightened up, I glanced down at her. Her crying paused momentarily, and a surge of hatred seemed to spill from her eyes. My heart tightened. An unbelievable thought occurred to me. Has she also been reborn? This thought made waves of hatred churn within me, instantly drowning me in resentment. Unable to control myself, I raised my hand, aiming straight for her neck. Just then, Su Zheng called out from behind me, "Honey, it's so cold, let's go home early, Mom and Dad are still waiting for us." I suddenly woke up as if from a dream. Heaven gave me a second chance, surely not to let me walk the path of despair again. I still have a wonderful life ahead of me. Even if I seek revenge, I shouldn't sacrifice my entire life for it. "Alright, let's go home." That very night upon returning, I pinned Su Zheng onto the bed. He froze momentarily, then a blush crept up his cheeks. "Honey, you're acting a bit different today." My passionate kiss was the only reply he got. "In this life, I want to give birth to our child early. I want to give them everything we have. If there's any debt to be repaid, in my past life, I wronged them, father and son, the most. Now, I only wish to make it up to them properly. I'm not sure if Su Liao has been reborn, but I clearly know that if she has, given her character of not distinguishing right from wrong and bearing grudges over the slightest offense, sooner or later, she would come seeking revenge on us. I'm actually quite looking forward to her return, but to my disappointment, the following 6 years passed peacefully. Over the past 6 years, I've done many things. I quit my old job and, leveraging my foresight, opened my own restaurant. I also borrowed quite a bit of money to invest in several old houses, just waiting for my fortunes to soar, and throughout these 6 years, I've been keeping tabs on Su Liao's news. She was no different from the other children at the orphanage. They ate together and played together. If there was any difference, it was that the other children often bullied her. They would steal her food when the adults weren't around and make her do extra chores. He would also drag her into deserted corners and beat her up. She often bore bruises all over her body, but whenever she sought help, no one paid her any attention. She became the lowest existence in the entire orphanage. After hearing the news, I gave a bag of candy to the neighbor's child. He ran away happily. His grandmother's house was near the orphanage, and he often went there to play. Once, he saw me near the orphanage. Noticing my look of disgust directed at Su Liao, he came up to me and asked, "Auntie, don't you like that little girl?" I nodded, "Don't like it." He often got treats from me, and upon hearing this, he immediately rushed into the orphanage and gave Su Liao a hard slap. The little chubby kid was quick-witted. After hitting someone, he dashed off in a flash. When he returned to me, I decisively grabbed a handful of candies and gave them to him. His eyes lit up, thus opening the door to a new world. We reached an unspoken agreement between us. He was in charge of bullying others, while I was responsible for handing out candy. To get more candy, the chubby kid would even bring along other children from the orphanage who had never tasted sweets before. I'm happy to see it happen. The 7th year after abandoning Su Liao, she disappeared from the orphanage. No one knows where she went. The orphanage staff searched frantically and even reported to the police, but they just couldn't find her. I also secretly helped search a few times. If she could escape hell so easily, it would be too lenient on her. Unfortunately, no matter how much we searched, we still couldn't find her. I pondered in my heart for a long time but couldn't find a single clue. That thought arose in my heart again. Could someone so foolish and wicked truly be reborn? I couldn't help but feel somewhat agitated. "Mommy, what's wrong?" My 6-year-old son's sweet voice rang in my ears. "Did I make you angry?" My son takes after his father, gentle and considerate by nature. My heart softened, and all my sharp edges retreated. "No, Xiaobao is fine." I patted his head, feeling much of my obsession fade away. Since I couldn't find her, I decided to let her go for now. A year after Su Liao disappeared, I had already given up searching for her, but just at this moment, she came knocking on my door again. That day, I was busy in the restaurant. Just as I brought out food from the kitchen, I saw a little beggar rushing in from outside. I quickly put down the dishes in my hands and was about to step forward to ask if she needed help. Before I could approach her, she rushed up to me and hugged my leg. She sat on the ground, crying loudly. "Mom, I'm your daughter." She raised her head while crying, revealing a pitiful little face. In an instant, the whole place erupted in uproar. In this era, whether it was abandoning a child or saying I had cuckolded Su Jing outside, both were matters that would invite endless gossip. The restaurant instantly erupted in an uproar. The neighbors had already been green with envy over how much money we, the couple, had made. Now that they had an excuse to attack us, they all came out to criticize. "Mrs. Su, is this child really yours from outside?" "Aunt Zhang, that's such an unpleasant thing to say. Couldn't it be their own child?" "In that case, that couple must be truly heartless, abandoning their own daughter just to have a son." People naturally sympathize with the vulnerable, especially when it involves such a young child. Su Liao instantly became the object of everyone's sympathy. Her mere appearance successfully stirred everyone's anger toward me with just one sentence. She even managed to position herself as the victim, rallying everyone to her side. At that moment, I was certain, Su Liao had also been reborn. Putting on a pitiful act, she continued her performance. "Mom, please don't abandon me. I eat very little. Won't cost you much money, and can do lots of work." After speaking, she raised her hand, revealing slender arms. Those arms were covered with scars, looking rather terrifying. Seeing this, everyone grew even more furious. "Tsk, that inhuman thing beat the child like this." "Child, don't be afraid, uncle and auntie are here." "That's right, you found your parents now. The Su couple are kind-hearted people, they'll naturally acknowledge you." the onlookers sarcastically passed judgment on me and Su Zheng, and presumptuously insisted on having Su Liyao return to her family. I wasn't provoked by Su Liao's tricks. Instead, I calmly took out my phone. In front of everyone, I dialed Su Zheng's number, with the speaker on. Before Su Zheng could speak, I said coldly, "Su Zheng, do you have an illegitimate daughter?" As soon as I finished speaking, Su Liao's slightly smug expression instantly froze. The onlookers suddenly fell silent. Everyone pricked up their ears, eager to hear the Su family's dirty laundry aired. Whether it was a couple conspiring to abandon their child or a husband cheating on his wife, either would make for juicy gossip over tea. Su Zheng's voice boomed from the other end. "Wronged, my wife. I've been faithful to you all along. All these years, I've either been at work or at home. Besides, with how passionately we've been together every day, how could I possibly have a secret daughter? Darling, you must be mistaken." I naturally knew everything he said was true. The crowd before me was full of busybodies, and no one would listen to my earnest explanations. "All right, stop talking, come back and see for yourself. If it's your daughter, we're getting a divorce." I finished my harsh words and immediately hung up the phone. My eyes slightly reddened. "Neighbors, bear witness for me. If this child is Su Zheng's, we'll get divorced." Divorce was still rare in those days. Seeing me on the verge of tears but holding back, everyone couldn't help but question their own perceptions. "Auntie Su, it's not that serious. Men will be men. It's normal for them to make mistakes. Don't take it to heart. Talking about divorce. Who knows whose child this is? Daughter-in-law Su, don't be foolish. Where else would you find a good man like Su Zheng?" The crowd, their eyes filled with pity, started chattering enthusiastically again, trying to persuade me. Su Liyao gritted her teeth as the attention and sympathy she had painstakingly gathered was effortlessly shattered by my indifferent demeanor. She sat on the ground, head bowed, softly weeping. I slightly curled my lips and forced a brave smile for everyone. "Sorry for making you laugh. No matter what, the child is innocent." After saying this, I took the initiative to help Su Liyao. Upon touching her hands, I immediately let go again. "I was trying to help you up. Why did you pinch me?" I quickly withdrew my hand, pressing my own nails hard into my palm until the pain made me stop. Everyone's expressions changed drastically upon seeing this. "Isn't this an ungrateful wretch?" Su Liyao burst into loud sobs, crying, "I didn't do it. Mom's lying." Unfortunately, no one believed her words. Few would believe the words of an illegitimate daughter. After all, a crooked stick will have a crooked shadow. The onlookers were all waiting for Su Zheng to return. Eager to continue watching the drama unfold, the crowd split into two groups. One group comforted Su Liyao, "Kid, if they're really your parents, uncle and auntie will definitely help you, but if they're not, you shouldn't frame them, okay? You say the Su couple are your parents, so what evidence do you have?" "Little girl, where are you from?" Su Liyao pouted. "They are my parents. Someone saw them abandon me at the orphanage gate. Otherwise I wouldn't have come looking." She gazed at me pitifully, her eyes brimming with tears. "Mom, please don't abandon me. I'll work more and eat less." The moment our eyes met, her tears began to fall. I suppressed the cold laughter rising in my heart. In my past life, Su Zheng and I held her in the palms of our hands, and she never backed down when faced with challenges. Who would have thought that in this life, Su Liyao, having endured countless hardships, has mastered the art of being a cunning manipulator, in front of everyone. I also teared up, crying as I spoke. "When Su Zheng returns, I'll ask him, if you're really his child. I won't let him off easily." With that one sentence, the wavering onlookers once again sided with me. Half an hour later, Su Zheng rushed back in a frantic hurry. Seeing me, he immediately came forward and hugged me. "Darling, I swear, if I have any illegitimate children outside, may I be struck by lightning and die a horrible death." He started right off with a vicious oath. It instantly silenced everyone. "Wife, tell me, who's the damn rumormonger that almost ruined our family? I'll kill her." Su Zheng released me, his eyes filled with fury. I patted his shoulder to comfort him, then pointed at Su Liyao standing nearby. "If this child came all the way here, how could it be fake?" Su Zheng turned his head blankly following my movement, and when he saw Su Liyao, he froze for a moment, given Su Liao's cleft lip. Su Zheng suddenly remembered who the little girl before him was. "Honey, isn't this the little girl we picked up 8 years ago? I remember we sent her to the orphanage. Why is she here? Wait, last year I heard from a colleague that a child went missing from the orphanage. Could it be her?" Su Zheng walked up to Su Liyao and said, "Little girl, we really aren't your parents. Go back to where you came from." The crowd erupted in uproar upon hearing Su Zheng's words. I always said Su Zheng is a good man, he wouldn't do something like this. I've watched him grow up, his wife has been doing good deeds all these years. How could they possibly do something like this? Su Liao bit her lower lip and immediately knelt before us. Uncle, Auntie, I'm sorry, I thought you were my parents, I heard it from someone else and came here after asking around. I've lived in an orphanage since childhood and desperately wanted my own family. I didn't expect to almost cause a misunderstanding, I'm sorry, it's my fault. After speaking, she kowtowed to the floor. Without the slightest hesitation, she kowtowed until her forehead turned red. Since I've found you, it must be fate's arrangement. Can I call you Mom and Dad? Tears streamed down her face, accentuated by her beggar-like appearance. Instantly, she stirred sympathy among the crowd. I looked at her with pity and sighed. Little girl. We're just an ordinary family and truly don't have the means to take in another child. Besides, we still have a son to raise. Su Liao's originally flawless expression twisted instantly upon hearing that I had a child. What, you have a son together? That's impossible, you're lying to me, aren't you? Seeing this, my expression turned cold immediately. Why would we lie to you? You'd better leave now, we still have business to attend to. No, how can you drive me away, Mom and Dad? I'm your real daughter, if you acknowledge me now, I'll forgive you for abandoning me, otherwise, I'll call the police. Su Liao panicked and blurted out threats without hesitation. No need for you to call, I'll do it right now. I immediately dialed the police station's number. Seeing that I was serious, Su Liao threw herself on the ground, throwing a tantrum and refusing to leave no matter what. The police arrived quickly. After verifying the information, they promptly confirmed Su Liao's identity. Su Liao's eyes were filled with hatred as she was taken away. She shouted at me, "You vicious woman, and you, this fool who listens to his wife. You'll regret this." Su Zheng touched his nose and retorted, "Is listening to my wife a bad thing?" His shameless pride nearly made Su Liao spit blood in anger. Seeing there was no more drama to watch, the crowd quickly dispersed. Su Zheng hugged me again. "Honey, you almost scared me to death just now. I was afraid you'd misunderstand me and then leave me. That wouldn't happen." I waved my hand dismissively. "You're not capable of doing such things, honey, you're so good to me," I sneered. "If you dare, I'll castrate you first." Su Zheng gave an awkward laugh. After Su Liao's commotion, I actually wanted to go back earlier. Unexpectedly, there were especially many customers today. The shop was packed with people, and I didn't return until late at night. I never expected that as soon as I turned on the TV at home, the news reported that the child who had just been found at the welfare home had gone missing again right after. After hearing this news, my eyebrows kept twitching. I pressed my temples, suppressing the irritation, and couldn't help but feel I was overthinking things. Now that Su Liao was right under my watch, I doubted she could stir up any trouble. However, what I didn't expect was that something would happen the very next afternoon. My mother-in-law called me in tears. "The baby is missing, how could he disappear?" "Mom, explain clearly." In my panic, the dishes in my hands fell to the ground. Customers were cursing nearby, but I couldn't even spare a moment to apologize. The old woman continued crying. "I came to pick him up in the evening, but the teacher said they saw him leave with a little girl. She thought they were just walking home together, so she didn't pay much attention, but I asked around, and no one had seen that child. I don't know where she came from." At that moment, I almost collapsed to the ground. I've witnessed Su Liao's cruelty before. If my carelessness leads to my child's death again, I would never forgive myself in this lifetime. I forcefully suppressed the panic in my heart and quickly searched for a solution. "Mom, you start by asking around from the school onward. I'll also ask the neighbors here to help look for her." My mother-in-law agreed. I turned and entered the kitchen, grabbed a metal basin, then started banging it loudly toward the street. Su Liao had just caused a scene yesterday, so today when I banged the iron basin, many people came immediately. "Dear friends and relatives, my little Bao has been taken away and is missing." My mother-in-law followed a little girl, the child who caused trouble yesterday. "You've all seen her. I suspect she took Bao. So please help us search. If we find her, I will surely reward you handsomely. Thank you all." I bowed deeply to everyone. The neighbors who had gathered around started cursing upon hearing my words. Damn it, if the Su couple hadn't taken her in, she wouldn't have harmed their child. Is there no justice? Come on, everyone, let's go search for her. That wretched child is utterly inhuman. Whose child isn't precious? How old is she? And she's already learned to harm others in daily life. Although there were minor conflicts among neighbors, now everyone has come together as one. they spontaneously scattered to various places to help me search for my child. After they left, I reported the incident to the police again. Since the disappearance hadn't lasted long enough to file a case, I was frantic but powerless to do anything. Su Jing quickly returned home after receiving the message. "Honey, I'll help you search. Don't be afraid." His hands were trembling too. Yet he kept comforting me. I nodded and said, "Okay." Just at this moment, my phone rang, and I quickly answered it. Su Liao's childish voice came through. "Bitch, I know you've also been reborn, and I know you won't adopt me again, but so what? Since you want to ruin me, I'll kill your son. I really want to ask you, how does it feel to lose your child twice?" Ha ha ha. Her arrogant voice was like that of a demon, and I couldn't stop trembling. "I'll give you anything you want. Just don't hurt my child." I knew she was insane. She truly dared to kill. "So you're begging now? Yesterday I pleaded with you, even knelt before you. Did you show any mercy?" Her voice turned icy. "Die." Then, I heard the sound of someone falling into the water. I could barely hold on, almost fainting. I was overconfident, but I couldn't admit defeat. I must see the person alive or the body dead. If I gave up now, my child would truly be beyond saving. I supported Su Jing and said through gritted teeth, "Have people search along the riverbank. I'll explain everything to you later." Su Jing didn't dare to be careless, his face pale as he made call after call. The two of us, husband and wife, made calls while searching along the riverbank. The situation was far from optimistic. After searching all night, no one had been found. My heart sank halfway. There was only one thought in my mind: killing someone under 18 isn't a crime. By dawn, I could barely stand. Just then, someone shouted at me from afar, "Su family's daughter-in-law, we've found your child." I don't know where the strength came from, but I pushed Su Jing aside and suddenly ran ahead. I kept repeating silently in my heart, praying nothing bad had happened. After just a few steps, I heard the child's crying. My legs went weak, and I nearly collapsed on the spot. By the time I ran to the riverbank, my son was already terrified, trembling, and crying. He kept shouting, "Mommy, I want mommy and daddy." When he saw me, his crying intensified even more. His heart-wrenching appearance made my heart ache along with his. I held him in my arms. "Mommy's here, daddy's here too. Don't cry, don't cry. It's mommy's fault for not protecting you." It turned out that on that day, Su Liao had just pushed the person into the water when a kind passerby rescued them. But he refused to leave, so the kind stranger had no choice but to stay with him while calling the police. As for Su Liao, she had already left long before. She looked completely indifferent when she was caught. "Uncle, I was just playing a game with my little brother. I don't know what happened to him." "You wouldn't hold it against a child like me, would you, Uncle? I'm only 8 years old. I really just thought he was cute and wanted to play with him. If it bothers you, I'll play with him less often from now on." Even at the police station, she showed no remorse. I knew that with someone like her, only harsh measures would work. I requested the police to let me speak with her alone. Only when it was just the two of us did she show a hint of panic. "How come you're scared too? Afraid I'll strangle you?" I sneered. "Don't worry, that'd be letting you off too easy. I just want to tell you something." Hearing that I wouldn't lay hands on her, Su Liao regained her arrogance. "Go on," she said. I maintained my smile. "The day I picked you up was when I was reborn. Heaven has eyes. It let me personally throw you back into hell. By the way, the beatings and abuse you suffered at the orphanage were all my doing. Next, I'll forgive you and apply for you to go back." Hearing my words, Su Liao looked at me in disbelief. "All the pain I endured was because of you. How could you be so cruel? Aren't you cruel too?" I sneered in response before turning and walking away. Su Liao behind me broke down, shouting, "I don't want to go back. I don't want to return to the orphanage. Let me out." I told Su Jing about the rebirth, and together we filled out the letter of forgiveness. Since the villains exploit loopholes to commit evil, we can also learn to repay them in kind. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Su Liao was quickly sent back. This time, Su Jing and I donated a large sum of money to the orphanage. Someone will watch over her carefully and torment her. A few more years passed, and unable to endure the torment, she completely lost her mind. Upon receiving the news, Su Jing and I exchanged glances and reached an agreement. We paid to have her admitted to a mental hospital. After all, how could we not take good care of her when our son suffered from nightmares every night? Not long after Su Liao was admitted, the properties I had invested in were all demolished for redevelopment. Moreover, my restaurant business became increasingly prosperous. We have plenty of money for the coming decades, enough to cover her treatment for a lifetime. After hearing the first story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Next, there is another similar story. Let's continue to see. My sister and I are two white immortals who have cultivated for over 300 years. Originally white hedgehogs. Our luck wasn't great. We happened to live in the age of declining spiritual energy. Though we barely managed to take human form, achieving true immortality proved difficult. In this era, humans have little faith left. If we wish to attain enlightenment, we must receive their genuine blessings and praise. For us to achieve enlightenment successfully, the city god deliberately lured two men to the temple, instructing us to seek their blessings. One was an aloof demon-hunting Taoist priest. The other a gentle internet celebrity streamer. My elder sister whisked away the streamer without a trace, leaving the cold-faced priest to me. The streamer was kind and gentle. My sister should have had no trouble attaining immortality, but she was deceived by his sweet words, willingly married him, and defied the natural order by using her powers to help him become a star. On the day he won the Best Actor award, the host stabbed my sister in the fatal point of her abdomen and summoned heavenly lightning to scatter her soul. Under the guidance of the stern-faced Taoist priest, I accumulated countless merits and finally achieved enlightenment through his sincere praise, becoming the new city god of a city. Consumed by jealousy, my sister sacrificed her innate immortal body to divert the heavenly lightning onto me, and I was struck dead, my path of cultivation utterly destroyed. When I opened my eyes again, we had returned to the day of making the choice. My sister swiftly rolled up the Taoist priest and left. I leisurely toyed with the thorns on my body. Fools, in this life, both the Taoist priest and the streamer are mine. You sisters have taken human form for many days now. The reason you've been unable to attain enlightenment for so long is that this era lacks sufficient faith energy, causing the path to immortality to become desolate and blocked. To help you both achieve enlightenment, I've specially brought these two men here. Divide them between yourselves and strive to seek their blessings. The city god pointed at the two unconscious men lying in the main hall of the temple. One of them was dressed like an immortal sage, with a copper coin sword hanging at his waist and a cloth pouch filled with talismans and ritual tools. Clearly a descendant of Taoist tradition. The other wore trendy makeup, his lips curled in a smile even while unconscious, giving off an approachable vibe. His phone was still streaming live, though the screen was now completely dark, with only the barrage of comments flashing wildly. I looked at the black aura between his brows. TSK, this is going to be a bit tricky. With a flick of her finger, my sister summoned a gust of wind to lift the Taoist priest and prepared to leave. The city god hurriedly called out to her, Qingyue, he's a member of the Taoist sect. They've always held prejudices against folk recognized immortals like you, viewing you as mere spirits. If you encounter someone with a bad temper, they might even try to kill you. Getting acknowledgement from him won't be easy. Are you sure about this? My sister transformed into human form, her beautiful and enchanting face twisting unnaturally into a pitiful expression. Grandpa, of course I know it won't be easy to get acknowledgement from him, but I'm the older sister. It's only right that I leave the easier path for my younger sister. Let me handle this cold-faced, troublesome Taoist. I lowered my eyes with a faint smile. What a thoughtful, good sister she was. The city god was quite pleased with her hypocritical display of humility and repeatedly praised her. Well said. Qingyue truly embodies what a member of the White Immortal clan should be. By Qingyun. Shouldn't you thank your good sister? I raised a faint smile and casually turned off the streamer's phone. Then I'll thank my sister. She raised her eyebrows smugly. Good little sister, this streamer clearly looks kind and easy to fool. You'll surely win his sincere praise in no time, unlike me. I'll just have to reluctantly deal with this Taoist priest. Her laughter was triumphant and unrestrained, with not a trace of reluctance on her face. I pressed my lips together, smiling without speaking. In this lifetime, who can truly earn sincere recognition remains uncertain. My sister and I belong to the White Immortal clan, often called medicine immortals by mortals because we practice the healing arts. Not only can we offer medicine to cure illnesses and save lives, but we can even heal damaged immortal spirits. Although humans refer to us as immortals, achieving true enlightenment requires not only diligent cultivation but also enduring many trials. Among these, the most difficult is obtaining genuine recognition from humans, what they call seeking validation. Obtain it, and attain enlightenment to become immortal. Fail to obtain it, and perish with the Tao extinguished. Unlike ordinary folk tales, the act of seeking recognition isn't something that just anyone's casual praise can fulfill. It requires sincere praise from someone with a pure heart. The praise is merely the form, Sincerity is what truly matters. In my past life, my elder sister stole the streamer. The streamer was young and cheerful, receptive to mystical matters, and moreover, he appeared simple and kind-hearted. It couldn't have been easier to deceive his sincerity. The sister appeared with an ethereal aura and rescued the streamer when he was lost in the mountains. As expected, the streamer fell in love with her at first sight. 3 days after descending the mountain, he sought out her mountain lodge, declaring that he would repay her life-saving kindness by offering himself in marriage. The sister kept him to jointly run the lodge. Within just half a year, the lodge became wildly popular online, and they grew increasingly inseparable. The sister fell deeply in love, offering her sincere heart before even securing the streamer's true feelings. The streamer was chronically ill yet stubbornly clung to his dream of becoming a film emperor. To save him, his sister sacrificed a century of her cultivation. Later, to fulfill the streamer's dream of becoming a film emperor, his sister secretly used her powers against the will of heaven to alter his fate, forcibly elevating him to the throne of film emperor, all without the city god's knowledge. Unexpectedly, just after enduring heavenly punishment and losing her century of cultivation, the streamer turned around and plunged a dagger into her unprepared abdomen, directly extracting her inner core. It turns out the streamer knew my sister's identity from the beginning. Everything before was just an act. The streamer swallowed my sister's inner core and summoned heavenly lightning to scatter her soul to the winds. Unlike my sister's tragic fate, I, who chose the path of a Taoist priest, successfully attained enlightenment and became immortal. I understand deeply that the prejudices in people's hearts are like insurmountable mountains, not something I can easily shake. So, after escorting the Taoist priest out of the city god temple and down the mountain, I turned and left. I had no intention of changing the Taoist priest's prejudice against our family, and I planned to find someone else to seek recognition, but unexpectedly, this Taoist priest not only held no prejudice against us but also vowed to help me. Naturally, I didn't believe him, yet he followed me day after day, incessantly chanting about virtue and merit in my ear. He said that besides absorbing spiritual energy, the most important thing in our cultivation is accumulating merit. I was half convinced, but our family had always been healing and saving people, so doing good deeds was nothing unusual for us. It was just a matter of changing the frequency from doing it once a month or once a year to doing it every day, and expanding the scope of healing and saving people to include things like helping build roads or assisting people in crossing the street. It wasn't a big deal, so I decided to give it a try with some skepticism. After I completed 500 good deeds, my long stagnant cultivation suddenly surged amidst golden rays of light. I immediately cheered and excitedly told my sister about it, but my sister was busy accompanying the host for a show at the time, and she impatiently shooed me away. Doing good deeds for mortals can accumulate merit. Even the city god doesn't know about such things. Where did you hear that? Hurry up and leave. We're about to go on stage and are busy, not as idle as you with time to mess around. Mortals' lives are as worthless as grass. If it weren't for our family's cultivation practices, I'd even find treating their illnesses disgusting. Now you want me to use my cultivation to help them. It truly sickens me. Get out of here. I don't want to see you. The more good deeds I performed alongside the Taoist priest, the faster my cultivation grew, and my reputation expanded. Later, the people of City A built a temple for me beside the city god temple and erected a golden statue in my likeness. From then on, an endless stream of merit light poured into my body every day. 3 years later, a plague broke out in the mortal realm, and I exhausted all my cultivation to heal the sick throughout the city. When the plague demon dissipated, my immortal body also turned into golden light and vanished. Later, my barely surviving soul was placed inside a golden statue by a Taoist priest to recuperate. Then, using his own cultivation as the brush and the faith of the entire city's people as ink, he petitioned the heavenly Tao. Extolling my virtues, I rebuilt my immortal form, ascended the celestial ladder, and received the heavenly Tao's reward before the gates of immortality, becoming the new city god of a city. All of this was witnessed by my sister, whose soul was on the verge of dispersing. Consumed by jealousy, she went mad and sacrificed her immortal body to drag me down with her, forcing us both to endure the heavenly thunder. As 99 bolts of heavenly thunder struck, my already severely injured and unstable spirit was completely annihilated. When I opened my eyes again, we had returned to the day the city god had us choose our paths. In this life, my sister snatched away the Taoist priest, then I'll reluctantly accept the sincere feelings of her beloved streamer. I brought the streamer to a mountain homestay. When the streamer woke up and saw me, he shyly called out, "Fairy sister, was it you who saved me?" I continued drying herbs without paying him attention, but he followed closely behind, his face flushed red as he confessed, "Fairy sister, you're so beautiful. I know it must have been you who saved me, for saving my life. I've nothing to repay you with except," I flicked a needle to pin him 3 steps away, eyeing him coldly, "Stop acting, Lu Jinan, I'm not buying your act, the sole successor of Mao Shan's sect in your generation. What kind of fool are you pretending to be?" Lu Jinan froze for a moment, then shrugged his shoulders, shaking off the needle I'd embedded, curling his lips into a wicked smirk. "Little hedgehog, since you know who I am, how dare you have the audacity to strike at me?" The Mao Shan sect is the most profound and long-standing Taoist school still extant today, and Lu Jinan is their sole successor in his generation, destined to inherit his master's legacy of vanquishing demons. He was cursed for taking too many lives, plagued by illness and doomed to die before 35, compounded by the sect's financial struggles and his search for a worthy disciple to pass on the teachings. Lu Jinan became a streamer and even dreamed of entering the entertainment industry. But those of the mystical arts cannot mingle too much with the mortal world, so Lu Jinan never found fame, whether as a streamer or a celebrity. Obscurity was his fate. In their past life, Bai Qingyue insisted on defying heaven's will to change his fortune. No wonder she suffered the backlash of cosmic retribution. I raised an eyebrow at him with a smirk. "I know you look down on folk immortals like us. Even if you consider me an ordinary spirit, I've never harmed anyone nor abused my powers. On the contrary, I often heal and save lives, so, even if I were a spirit, you'd have no reason to attack me. Besides, in your current physical state, do you really think you can take me on?" Lu Jinan's pupils trembled in shock as he stared at me in disbelief. "You can see my physical condition." I curled my lips into a smile. "Have you forgotten? Our Bai family is known as the Medicine Immortals." He looked at me with doubt and suspicion, hesitating for a long while before nervously asking, "Can you really cure me?" I glanced at him but didn't answer. Let him fret a little longer. After all, who would willingly choose death when there's a chance to live? Lu Jinan couldn't hold back his impatience. After just a short while, he began pestering me. "Can you really cure me? Then tell me first why I've been plagued by illness for so long. What's this medicine you're making? Is it for my treatment?" I was utterly annoyed and suddenly shot needles to seal all his major acupoints. Finally, "It's quiet, speak less. As long as you behave and stop calling me demon every other moment, perhaps one day when I'm in a good mood, I might lift the curse on you." That's right, Lu Jinan wasn't just ill, he was cursed. That's why Bai Qingyue couldn't save him in our past life, because he wasn't sick at all. At the mention of the word curse, Lu Jinan's gaze toward me instantly changed. "I never thought your Bai family truly had such capabilities." I couldn't help rolling my eyes. "Now do you believe our Bai family are genuine celestial beings, not the wild and untamed spirits you mentioned? As the foremost sect of Taoism, Mount Mao should distinguish good from evil more clearly, rather than condemning all demons and monsters indiscriminately." Lu Jinan looked utterly enlightened. After lowering his gaze in contemplation for a moment, he bowed deeply to me. Lu Jinan stayed behind, and I began working on lifting his curse. Though I didn't allow him to post about the homestay online, though Lu Jinan often acted like a sly old fox, his early 20s showed through once we got familiar, and he frequently made foolish mistakes. Either he'd ruin the talisman array or spill the potion, turning the guesthouse into a complete mess every day until I couldn't even find a place to step. I endured it over and over, until I finally couldn't take it anymore and resorted to pricking him with needles to curb such behavior. The needles in my hand were transformed from the thorns on my body, moving according to my will, sharp, precise, and merciless. One good stab was enough to make him howl and never want a second dose. Lu Jinan got so furious from my pricking that he turned around and slammed the door shut as he left. Ironically, I was the only one in this world who could save him, yet within just half a day, he came back whistling as if nothing had happened. Actually, I wasn't the only one who could save him. There was another person who could, and that was the cold-faced Taoist priest Shen Qingchen. The method to lift the curse was something he had taught me in my past life, but in this lifetime, the one he patiently taught and accompanied with care became my sister. The Taoist treated my sister just as he had treated me in my previous life, carefully teaching her to accumulate merit by doing good deeds. I heard that a female bodhisattva has recently appeared in City A. She opened a traditional Chinese medicine clinic, offering free acupuncture and medicine to those who come seeking treatment. It is said that some reckless ruffians and bullying servants, seeing her heavenly beauty and superb medical skills, set their sights on her. After being taught a lesson by the Taoist who accompanied her, they dared not show their faces again. The video was posted online, and everyone exclaimed how perfect they looked together. Their CP had fans swooning left and right. Bai Qingyue became an internet sensation, hailed as the goddess sister. Netizens praised her not only for her beauty but also for her kindness, and her traditional Chinese medicine clinic was packed with endless streams of patients seeking treatment. With so much merit accumulated, her cultivation must be advancing faster now than it did in my past life. When Grandpa City God celebrated his birthday, we all returned to offer our blessings. To my surprise, my sister's current cultivation level was still inferior to mine. The moment I stepped into the City God temple that day, I saw my sister holding up her phone recording a herb gathering vlog. Once she finished filming, she casually overturned the medicinal herbs from her basket onto the ground and even stomped on them a couple of times. Noticing my entrance, she giggled and said, "I heard you've been spending all your time with that streamer. Could it be, dear sister, that you've developed feelings for him and forgotten your original purpose in getting close to him?" The City God glared at me furiously. "Bai Qingyun, since childhood I've taught you that immortals and mortals belong to different worlds. We deities may love all beings impartially, but we must never fix our affections on a single mortal. Have you thrown all my rules to the wind? How dare you meet secretly with a mortal day after day in the mountains?" Seeing the City God was about to punish me, I hastily explained, "City God, I haven't forgotten your teachings. That young streamer fell ill, and I was merely treating him to gain his trust, hoping to earn his sincere praise and blessings." The City God snorted coldly and struck my shoulder with his palm. "This will teach you a lesson. Learn more from your elder sister, do more practical deeds, and strive to attain enlightenment and immortality. That is the true path." Clutching my wound and biting my lip tightly, I retorted unwillingly, "City God, has an elder sister also been idling away her days with that Taoist priest in the Chinese medicine clinic, making no progress in her cultivation? Why do you only punish me and not her?" Before the City God could respond, my elder sister smirked mockingly and chimed in, "Little sister, don't slander me. Running the Chinese medicine clinic with that Taoist priest isn't idle dalliance. I've already extracted the secret method of attaining enlightenment and immortality from him. It won't be long before I achieve immortality, and then I'll be able to share grandfather's burdens." The City God stroked his beard approvingly and chuckled warmly, "Good, good, good. I always knew Qingyue was a clever child. This spiritual fruit has been stored for 100 years. Today, I award it to you." The elder sister tearfully accepted it with gratitude. "Thank you, grandfather. Bai Qingyue will not disappoint your expectations." After the City God left, the elder sister eagerly devoured the spirit fruit. Finally satisfied, she wiped her mouth and walked over to mock me. "Dear younger sister, don't blame me for not warning you. That man is clearly not long for this world. Why waste your efforts trying to save him?" As she spoke, she recalled the tragic experiences of her past life and gnashed her teeth in anger. "Moreover, that man is clearly cold-hearted and ungrateful. Even if you exhaust yourself to save him, he won't appreciate it. In the end, you'll only end up with wasted effort and no reward. I advise you to just kill him and quickly find someone else to seek recognition from." I sneered inwardly, "What fools." After following Lu Jinan for so long in my past life, they still hadn't seen through his identity. As an heir of the Maoshan sect, how could he possibly be some pushover? And they actually thought of killing him. If I dared to strike first, he'd undoubtedly have 100 ways to make me wish I were dead. She took out her phone and called Shen Qingchen, asking him to pick her up. After hanging up, she gloated at me smugly. What can I say? Shen Qingchen loves me to death. I've already won his heart. He said he'll soon use his lifelong cultivation and the merits of the people to bestow upon me the highest divine praise, helping me achieve immortality. When that time comes, little sister, you simply must come and see. I curled my lips into a smile. Wonderful, I'll be waiting eagerly. A year later, when we descended the mountain and saw my sister again, she had become a household name, a philanthropic celebrity. She no longer merely runs a medical clinic to heal and save lives, she has also established numerous charitable foundations to assist various groups in need. Her cultivation is no longer as superficial as before but has become profound and restrained, with faint golden light shimmering around her. It seems that under Shen Qingchen's guidance, she has come to understand the value of sincerity. Only by genuinely and wholeheartedly performing good deeds has she achieved her current level of cultivation. The path I walked in my past life, the opportunities one gained, now, they have all become hers. Although staying away from Shen Qingchen was my own choice, seeing him treat my sister the same way he treated me in my past life still fills my heart with bitterness. my sister, and Lu Jinan appeared on the same variety show. She brought Shen Qingchen, while Lu Jinan brought me. In the dressing room, the moment my sister saw Lu Jinan, her eyes turned bloodshot, and her murderous intent became uncontrollable. Shen Qingchen immediately tapped her spiritual point, and she instantly became calm and docile again. I lightly bit my lower lip. He used to make me obedient like this in the past. I raised my eyes to look at him, clad in a dark blue Taoist robe. His face was full of coldness, appearing utterly unapproachable, but in truth, he was the most tender-hearted of all. In my past life, he exhausted all his cultivation to help me attain immortality. In this life, is he going to give everything to my sister? Lu Jinan suddenly leaned in close and whispered to me, "Is that woman also from your Bai family?" I neither confirmed nor denied, simply nodding. She's my sister." He immediately took delight in my misfortune. "Oh, the esteemed teacher Bai, whose status surpasses even mine, is actually your sister. TSK, look at you, really." Comparison is the thief of joy. I swiftly threw a needle to seal his infuriating, shameless mouth. "You're the worthless one, a stupid fool who can't compare to anyone and only deserves to be thrown away." Soon, the assistant director came to notify us to enter the studio. I had just stepped onto the stage and hadn't even had time to greet everyone when suddenly I felt my entire body rapidly heating up. In an instant, I was forced back into my original form. Everyone was terrified. "Oh my God. It's a huge white hedgehog. It must be a monster. Help." Chaos erupted on the scene. My sister immediately grabbed the microphone to calm the crowd. "Don't be afraid, everyone. With me and Taoist Master Shen Qingchen here, we won't let the monster harm any of you." As soon as she finished speaking, she grabbed Shen Qingchen's sleeve. "Master Taoist." My sister might have succumbed to demonic influence and couldn't help revealing her true form. "For the safety of the people, you must act quickly to subdue her." Shen Qingchen swiftly drew the copper coin sword he carried with him and slashed fiercely toward me. Bathed in a golden light, I gradually transformed into human form. Shen Qingchen sheathed his sword and clasped his hands toward the audience. Opening act. Hope you all enjoy it. Beside him, my sister stared at him in disbelief. After the host subtly followed Shen Qingchen's lead to smoothly save the situation, the program continued recording without a hitch. Once filming ended, Shen Qingchen left without looking back. His sister, furious, chased after him. "Shen Qingchen, have you lost your mind? Why did you help Bai Qingyun just now? She's a demon." Shen Qingchen looked at her calmly. "If she's a demon, then what are you?" "Of course I'm Bai Xian, born with an immortal body, and you've personally guided me for so long. How can she compare to me?" Before she could finish, Shen Qingchen suddenly interrupted. "You truly cannot compare to her." Shen Qingchen coldly finished speaking and turned to leave, while her sister hurriedly chased after him. "Taoist Master, wait for me, we haven't finished today's good deeds yet. Come with me." Without looking back, Shen Qingchen replied, "Today, you've already broken the precepts against killing and jealousy. It's not suitable to perform good deeds now. Go back and meditate to cleanse your heart." My sister stamped her foot in frustration, turning her head to glare at me fiercely. I knew it was my sister who had placed the talisman on me to force my true form to appear. She probably wanted Shen Qingchen to subdue me publicly. I also wanted to see what Shen Qingchen would do. The facts proved that Shen Qingchen remained as gentle and kind-hearted as in his previous life, never indiscriminately harming the innocent. I couldn't help but stare at his tall and straight figure, wanting to take a few more glances at him. What a fool! The Taoist practitioners weren't wrong. Us folk immortals are indeed quite petty-minded and often disregard human lives. Not all of us are good. It's understandable that Taoists look down on us, but he's different. Not only does he not despise us, he even helps us wholeheartedly. If that's not foolish, what is? Watching them walking side by side, I couldn't suppress the ache rising in my heart. The one standing by his side should have been me, but with the painful lessons from my past life, I no longer dare to gamble or get even half a step closer to him in this lifetime. Suddenly, Lu Jinan beside me slapped my shoulder, his handsome face filled with anger. "Little hedgehog, stop staring, he won't turn back no matter how much you look." "Still watching? Could it be you've taken a fancy to him? Hey, what's wrong with your taste?" I was already annoyed, and he kept chattering beside me, unable to hold back. I slapped his hand away. "What I think is none of your damn business. Keep running your mouth, and I won't let you soak in the last medicinal bath." He turned around angrily and stormed off. "Fine, suit yourself. Who cares if you save me or not? It's not like you give a damn anyway. Just let me suffer and die." I couldn't be bothered with him and found a shady, quiet spot to sleep, though I wanted his sincere praise. I wasn't someone who could swallow humiliation. Whatever, I'll just slack off. Lu Jinan gradually gained some fame, and more people asked him to record shows. He wanted me to accompany him. I refused without hesitation. I didn't want to go because going down the mountain might mean running into my sister and Shen Qingchen. I wasn't too keen on seeing them. Lu Jinan had sharp eyes. He asked me, "Do you like that Taoist priest beside your sister?" Furious and humiliated, I snapped. "Keep spouting nonsense and I'll kill you. There's a world of difference between immortals and mortals. How could I possibly fall for a mere mortal Taoist? Indeed, I was born with an immortal celestial body. How could I ever fancy a mortal Taoist? Yet, against all odds, I fell for him. In my past life, I grew impatient listening to his lectures about accumulating virtue, convinced it was just his excuse to avoid sincerely praising me, another scheme to torment me. We household deities are all petty-minded and vengeful to the smallest slight. Outwardly, I agreed to accompany him in doing good deeds, but secretly I led him into danger, framed him, and even repeatedly attempted to take his life, yet he never grew angry, merely shaking his head helplessly each time before letting it go. Finally, I confronted him outright and asked what exactly he wanted from me. He smiled faintly and replied, "This is also my practice." He taught me the principles of the human world, teaching me that sincerity must be exchanged with sincerity. At first, I didn't understand. Every day, I scolded him for being stingy, unwilling to sincerely praise me, and for insisting on doing those so-called good deeds. No matter how many I did, I never saw even a speck of merit added, until that day of heavy rain, when I saw a bird lying weakly in the downpour. Suddenly, pity arose in my heart, and I reached out to carry it indoors to nurse it back to health. On the day the bird recovered and flew away, a glimmer of golden light emerged from its body and vanished into mine. Only then did I truly understand what it means to exchange sincerity with sincerity. Unlike ordinary healing or cultivation, to accumulate merit, one must genuinely perform good deeds, not merely go through the motions. I began to trust him, wholeheartedly doing whatever good I could to earn sincere gratitude from others. Before I knew it, I had genuinely fallen for him too. I felt so resentful, thinking I had lost out. I had wanted his heart first, yet ended up giving mine away instead. That damned Taoist must have lied to me. He clearly wasn't willing to give me his heart. Later, when I exhausted my cultivation to dispel the plague demon from the mortal realm and my immortal body shattered into golden light, I glimpsed his crystal-clear sincerity in his tears. My soul watched as he collapsed to his knees where I had just vanished, yet his face showed no trace of grief. If not for my sharp eyes, I might have missed that single tear slipping from the corner of his left eye. That teardrop was clear and bright, and within it I saw a crystal-clear sincerity. I couldn't resist reaching out to catch it, but unexpectedly he suddenly lunged forward, startling me so much that the tear grazed my fingertips and fell to the ground. I stared at him in disbelief. "Shen Qingchen, can you see me?" "Bai Qingyun, is that you?" Our voices sounded simultaneously, though it seemed only I could hear. He likely still couldn't see me or hear me speak. "Bai Qingyun, are you still here? Where are you? Answer me, don't leave." Watching him search for me frantically, my heart ached unbearably. Yet I could do nothing, until the heavenly tribulation enveloped me. He finally saw me being targeted by it. There were 21 heavenly tribulations in total. If I could withstand them, I would attain immortality, but the power of the tribulation was immense. Even at my peak, it would have been difficult to endure, let alone now with my immortal body destroyed and only my spirit remaining. In my current spiritual state, forget about surviving 21 strikes. Even a single heavenly thunderbolt could scatter my soul to the winds. It was Shen Qingchen who rushed in despite the heavenly thunder's might, shielding me firmly beneath him and enduring all 21 thunder tribulations in my stead. Shen Qingchen was merely mortal. Even with his cultivation, he couldn't withstand so many heavenly strikes, let alone when these weren't even his own tribulations. By defying heaven's will to bear my calamity, the thunder's power was greatly amplified against him. After the tribulation passed, sweet rain descended, allowing me to reconstruct my immortal form amidst its blessing, but the sweet rain held no effect for Shen Qingchen. He lay charred and lifeless upon the ground. At the moment of death, he struggled to sit up and struck his own chest with a palm, forcing out his heart's blood. He exhausted his last remnants of cultivation to form a spiritual brush, using the faith of the entire city's people as ink, and bestowed upon me a divine commendation, by Jia Qingyun, whose virtue is as fragrant as orchids, whose kindness shines like light, who relieves suffering and aids the distressed. whose heart is filled with compassion, benefiting all living beings, revered by thousands, praised by the people. Taoist Shen Qingchen pleads her case before heaven, asking the heavenly Tao to bear witness and bestow the immortal ascension ladder. Watching Shen Qingchen plead my case before heaven, tears streamed down my face. Receiving his heartfelt commendation had always been the goal I strived for, but now that I had truly obtained it, I felt no joy, only profound sorrow. I desperately tried to stop him, but couldn't get even halfway close, until the glowing confession letter soared into the sky, and only then did he collapse from exhaustion. I picked him up, frantically casting spells to save him, but no matter how much magic I poured in, it was futile. Shen Qingchen's breath grew weaker and weaker. He smiled and shook his head at me. Don't waste your efforts, don't cry, giving everything for you. I do it willingly. Shen Qingchen died in my arms, unnoticed. A celestial gate appeared in the sky, and I was drawn toward it by a golden light of ascension. I successfully attained enlightenment and was enshrined as the new city god by the heavenly mandate's golden scroll, before I could fully digest the divine cultivation bestowed upon me. Intending first to bury Shen Qingchen before returning to the city god temple to refine my powers, I was struck by heavenly lightning summoned by my sister, scattering my soul to the winds. In the end, Shen Qingchen's body was left exposed in the wilderness. Failing to properly lay him to rest remains my eternal sorrow across both past and present lives. In this life, I want to change his fate, so, when my sister chose him, I didn't stop her. In this life, I won't hold him back anymore. I'll rely on myself to attain enlightenment and become immortal. As for him, he deserves a bright and glorious future. Lu Jinan snorted coldly and warned me, little hedgehog, don't forget your status. There's no possible future between you and him. Blinded by anger, I lashed out without thinking, what's it to you? If there's no future with him, then with whom? With you. I expected him to continue mocking me for my wishful thinking. To my surprise, my retort left him momentarily stunned. Then suddenly his face turned crimson with embarrassment, and he became so flustered he could barely speak. You little hedgehog, spouting nonsense. How could we possibly have a future together? Rolling my eyes, I jabbed his mute acupoint with a needle. You, what's with the stuttering? Delusional, ha. After unleashing my mocking skills, I turned and walked away, leaving him stomping in place. Petty little hedgehog, just you wait, once this curse is lifted. I'll kill you someday. I waved backward without looking, waiting for you. I had just stepped out of the guest house when I ran into my sister, who had come up the mountain specifically to see me. She smirked smugly. Oh, did you two have a fight? Not to criticize you, little sister, but when you're asking for favors, you ought to have the right attitude. Since you're begging him for recognition, you should lower your stance a bit, with your current attitude. When will you ever achieve enlightenment? I scoffed. No need for your concern, sister. If you want to kill him, go ahead and try. No need to waste effort testing me here. My sister suppressed her murderous aura and forced a smile. Oh, sister, you're so funny. I have no grudge against him. Why would I want to kill him? Besides, Master Qingchen warned me that I'm on the verge of attaining immortality. I can't afford to break the precept against killing at such a critical moment. Taoist Master Qingchen said that I will achieve perfect virtue and attain enlightenment to become an immortal at the latest in 3 days. When that time comes, little sister, you must come to congratulate me. I glanced over her entire body. Though golden light radiated all around her, it appeared unstable and superficial. I'll wait and see how she endures the heavenly tribulation, but in this lifetime, I won't let Shen Qingchen bear anyone else's heavenly tribulation again. 3 days later at midnight, City A witnessed the rare phenomenon of the sun and moon shining together, flowers blooming in unison, and birds and beasts singing harmoniously. People stepped out of their homes one after another to witness the rare spectacle that occurs only once in a century, discussing whether something significant might happen. The heavenly tribulation loomed over my sister's clinic. She mitigated its power by using the lives of the common people as leverage. Smoothly overcoming the tribulation, the golden light of ascension transformed into a 7-colored celestial ladder, one end descending upon my sister's traditional Chinese medicine clinic, the other connecting to the immortal gate in the sky. The immortal decree scroll unfurled, recording the good deeds my sister had performed and the divine titles bestowed upon her. My sister was overjoyed and couldn't wait to ascend the celestial ladder. Before leaving, she tilted her head and gave me a disdainful smile. Dear sister, thank you for yielding Shen Qingchen to me in this life. You can continue fooling around with that little streamer, while I'll be the first to ascend to immortality. I smiled at her without saying a word. Just as my sister was about to step onto the celestial ladder, a dark cloud suddenly appeared in the sky. The voice of Grandpa Qinghuang came from the dark clouds. Bai Qingyue. You've attained enlightenment and become immortal. Why didn't you inform your grandpa? Here it comes. Grandpa Qinghuang has finally arrived. In my past life, just as I was about to ascend, Grandpa Qinghuang suddenly appeared to seize my body. Upon discovering my immortal form had been destroyed while saving others, he flew into a rage and drained all the spiritual energy from my soul. Only then did I realize that the lack of faith had caused him to decay long ago. And he was on the verge of dissipating. To survive, he adopted us sisters with the sole purpose of nurturing us to attain enlightenment and immortality, so he could reap the benefits effortlessly. The good things he gave us were not free, they were all cursed with forbidden spells, making it easier for him to seize our immortal bodies during our ascension. In my past life, it was he who drained the spiritual energy from my soul, leaving me unable to withstand even a single heavenly thunderbolt. The city god's great kindness, I will never, ever, forget it. My sister now realized that the appearance of the city god at this moment was definitely not a good sign. She hurriedly stepped onto the ladder, only to be frozen in place by a mere point from the city god's finger. Bai Qingyue, why the rush? Your grandfather hasn't permitted your ascension yet. How dare you act on your own? The city god flew above the traditional Chinese medicine clinic, stroking his beard with satisfaction as he praised me. Qingyun is indeed sensible. If not for your timely notification, this wretch would have succeeded. I smiled and replied, you flatter me, grandfather. Since you picked up and raised both my sister and me, it's only natural that we should show our filial piety to you. The city god nodded repeatedly, laughing heartily with satisfaction. Bai Qingyue, did you hear that? Without me, there would be no you today. Although you stumbled upon a shortcut by accident, the little Taoist who taught you the secret method was found by me for you. Everything you have should be devoted to honoring me. Today, let Grandpa ascend in your stead. My sister was terrified and struggled desperately, but the city god had long placed restrictions on her. Forget escaping, she couldn't even move a muscle. My sister cried out for help. Taoist Qingchen, save me. The city god couldn't wait to abandon his crumbling golden body. As his divine soul surged into my sister's consciousness, attempting to forcibly seize her body, my sister clutched her head, screaming incessantly, her twisted face alternating between her own and the city god's. Ah, help me, Shen Qingchen, save me. No sooner had her cry for help ended than Shen Qingchen suddenly appeared. Seeing that familiar figure emerge abruptly, my heart gave a violent shudder. Hadn't I already trapped him with my scheme? How could he still break free from the spell? Seeing Shen Qingchen arrive, my sister was overjoyed. Shen Qingchen, hurry, that old bastard Qinghuang is trying to possess me. Save me, help drive him out. Qinghuang seized control of the body and glared at me furiously. Bai Qingyun, didn't you say this damn Taoist was already gone? You lied to me. I rolled my eyes. Didn't you know we house spirits have always been vengeful? Why get so angry over such a small trick, you wretched woman? The city god hurled a gust of wind toward me, but Shen Qingchen suddenly stepped in front of me, shielding me from the attack. City god, he declared, you were once a revered deity worshipped by thousands, yet your fear of death led you to succumb to demonic corruption. Today, I shall uphold justice and eliminate you. Shen Qingchen engaged him in fierce combat. I gripped golden needles, ready to strike. When Lu Jinan suddenly appeared, little hedgehog, where did you pick up such a fiend? Ah, and a fallen god at that. Step back, little girl, perfect timing. My curse was just lifted. Today, I'll show you the true power of the Maoshan sect. Timing the curse breaking for Lu Jinan was also part of my plan. With his formidable magical abilities, having his assistance would greatly increase my chances of success. The three of us joined forces to subdue the city god. Forcing him out of my sister's body, the city god roared in fury. Bai Qingyun, you wretched woman, how dare you conspire with Taoists to ambush me? I'll kill you, I swear I'll kill you. I snatched the demon-slaying sword from Lu Jinan's hands and swiftly plunged it into the city god's spiritual core. Grandpa city god, let me send you on your final journey. Farewell. Also screaming to kill me was my sister, who lay collapsed on the ground, barely clinging to life. Her immortal body had been severely damaged by the city god's torment, reduced back to her original form, a tiny hedgehog. Even so, she stubbornly cursed at me while crawling toward the celestial ladder, yet there was no way she could ascend it. She wept and wailed, repeatedly thrown back by the ladder's golden light, only to persistently charge at it again and again. As I approached, she bristled with hostility and cursed at me. By Qing Yun, you vile wretch. It's all your fault I ended up like this, may you die a horrible death, a horrible death. I chuckled mockingly. Dear sister, I've harmed no one, see, even the two Taoist masters haven't laid a finger on me, how could I possibly die horribly, unlike you, tsk tsk tsk, it seems you're the one who might truly meet a wretched end. My sister struggled to raise her head and look. Lu Jinan and Shen Qingchen stood behind me, neither of them intending to attack me. Instead, they subtly positioned themselves protectively around me. My sister was so furious that she spat out a mouthful of blood, her entire body trembling uncontrollably. By Qing Yun, I curse you to die a miserable death in this life. Once again, she chose to perish together with me, but in this life, I refused to be at others' mercy. I summoned my magical power to defend myself. Yet Lu Jinan and Shen Qingchen moved faster, shielding me, however. A golden light reacted even quicker than any of us. It's the heavenly scroll of merit. The golden scroll hovered above my head, its radiant light not only shielding me from my sister's curse but also reflecting it back at her. Now it was my sister who met a wretched end. Not even fragments of her soul remained, utterly annihilated. A gentle breeze swept by, and just like that, she vanished without a trace. The heavenly scroll of merit slowly rotated, revealing records of my virtues and blessings across past and present lives. At the very end was an edict appointing me as the city god. I was utterly shocked, never expecting that my immortal fate from my past life hadn't been severed and had followed me into this rebirth. The heavenly golden scroll spun faster and faster, the golden light enveloping me, faintly pulling me toward the celestial stairway. Attaining enlightenment and becoming an immortal had always been my most fervent desire and the goal I strived for. Now that it was about to be achieved, I found myself somewhat at a loss. In this mortal world, there are still things I cannot let go. I couldn't help but turn back to look at Shen Qingchen behind me. I don't expect Shen Qingchen to understand my feelings. After all, in this life, we are not close. But I didn't expect that after locking eyes with me for a moment, he would actually walk toward me. He took my hand and led me toward the heavenly staircase, saying to me, Qing Yun, even though you've rejected me in this life, I'm still willing to help you one more time. My pupils contracted as I realized Shen Qingchen had also been reborn. Tears streamed down my face as I looked into his sorrow-filled eyes, murmuring, I didn't reject you. Shen Qingchen forced out an ugly smile. Then I won't blame you anymore. Go, by Qing Yun. You were born with an immortal body, destined to attain enlightenment and become immortal. As a mere mortal, it's my fortune to have helped you along your way. As he spoke, he struck his own chest with a palm, forcing out a drop of heart's blood. Using his cultivation, he condensed it into a spiritual brush and began writing a formal commendation. By Qing Yun of the Bai family, whose virtue is as fragrant as orchids, whose kindness shines like light, who relieves suffering and aids the distressed, whose heart is filled with compassion, benefiting all living beings, revered by thousands, praised by the common people. Shen Qingchen of the Taoist sect respectfully welcomes the city god to ascend the throne. I was violently pulled by golden light toward the celestial ladder. My mouth opened, but I didn't know what to say. Just as I was about to step onto the heavenly ladder, Lu Jinan suddenly grabbed me from the side. Little hedgehog, you haven't said goodbye to me yet. Before I could speak, he continued on his own, you saved me, and I haven't thanked you yet. I know you were kind to me before, only wanting my sincere seal of approval. Who would have thought that someone detestable would beat me to it? As he spoke, he glared resentfully at Shen Qingchen. After glaring, he also forced out a drop of heart's blood and sealed his approval toward the heavenly golden scroll for me. Bai Qing Yun's wisdom shines like stars, her compassion boundless. Bearing the grace of an immortal, Lu Jinan of the Taoist sect respectfully welcomes the city god's ascension. As his words fell, I was pulled by golden light and flew toward the celestial gate. At the celestial gate in the sky, myriad rays of auspicious light shimmered, and amidst the swirling clouds, a golden figure seemed to descend slowly into the city god temple, with the new city god taking his rightful place, protecting the land and its people, punishing evil and rewarding good, bestowing blessings upon all. City A ushered in a new era of peace and prosperity. Extra, Lu Jinan didn't live much longer after his curse was lifted, because he was simply too reckless. Wherever there was danger, he would charge right in, and his methods of catching ghosts and exorcising demons were always life-threatening. He somehow ended up losing his life, and even his returning soul looked utterly miserable, pitiful, and dazed. When I came back from my trip, I saw him crouching pitifully at the entrance of the city god temple. At first, I thought he was just some wandering ghost, but upon closer look, I realized it was Lu Jinan. Lu Jinan, how did you die so tragically? Tsk. Judging by the scars left on your soul, you must have suffered inhuman torment before death. What did you do to deserve such a miserable end? Lu Jinan stared at me blankly. You know me, I don't remember anything. Who are you, and who am I? Only then did I realize his soul was incomplete. While pointing at his spiritual platform to examine his past deeds, I teased, you don't know who I am, then why did you come to my city god temple? I don't know, there was a voice in my heart telling me I must come here. What my mocking words caught in my throat as I saw the scene of his death. Turns out, he had been tortured to death by human traffickers while trying to rescue abducted children, with frost covering my face. I coldly commanded, someone, send a letter to the city god of Sea City, ask him if he needs my help managing affairs within his jurisdiction. A citizen of my city suffered such torment in his Sea City. I await his explanation. After speaking, I carefully placed his soul into a magical artifact to nurture it, then sent people out to search for his missing one soul and 2 spirits scattered elsewhere. This search lasted another 10 years, after restoring Lu Jinan's recovered soul and spirits. I prepared to send him into reincarnation. Who would have thought Lu Jinan refused outright and insisted stubbornly on staying at the city god temple. Annoyed by his persistence, I kept him by my side to handle affairs. As his accumulated merits grew, he was eventually appointed as a martial judge, becoming one of my most capable generals. Unlike Lu Jinan's tragic fate, Shen Qingchen lived a fulfilling life. When I first ascended to the throne, the vengeful ghosts and ancient demons in City A all craned their necks, waiting for the moment when the new city god would falter and reveal weaknesses, seizing the opportunity to stir up trouble. But they hadn't anticipated that the new city god would be such a tough nut, appearing kind-faced yet ruthless at heart, showing no mercy when dealing with rule-breaking demons and ghosts. Not only that, but City A also had a formidable cold-faced Taoist priest whose copper coin sword struck fear into the hearts of all demons and ghosts in the area. The major demon clans either relocated or went into hibernation, better to avoid trouble and lie low until the right moment to reappear. Yet that Taoist priest not only stayed but, finding himself with spare time, even established a sect beside the city god temple outside the city, patiently teaching a group of spiritually gifted disciples he'd recruited. This sect is called the City Guardian Pavilion, carrying the meaning of protection. The young disciple was puzzled. Master, the city god is so powerful, why would they need our protection? Shen Qingchen patted the young disciple's head and replied, of course, the city god is more powerful than us. This guardian is not just about protection but also about guarding the gates. The city god is busy with many affairs, so let's not disturb her with trivial matters we can handle ourselves. Shen Qingchen guarded the City Guardian Pavilion for 50 years, helping me resolve countless matters. In the end, he passed away peacefully in his sleep. When his soul left his body, the golden light of his accumulated merits shone so brightly it was startling. The heavenly scroll appeared once more, intending to appoint him as a minor earthly immortal, but he refused. He said, the city god's retinue still lacks a civil judge. Lu Jinan volunteers himself and begs the city god and Heavens will to grant this request. Before Heavens will could respond, Lu Jinan couldn't wait to jump out, saying, wishful thinking, a mere mortal like you dares to dream of staying by the city god's side and coveting the position of civil judge. Keep dreaming. Shen Qingchen glanced at him indifferently. You were once a mere mortal too. Lu Jinan fell silent instantly. I didn't speak, because I knew Heavens would make its own judgment, but now I deeply regret it. I should have refused back then. Had I refused back then, I might have been sad for a while, but it would have been better than now, when I don't even dare return to the city god temple. Lu Jinan and Shen Qingchen couldn't stand each other in life, and now they're even worse, constantly trying to one-up each other. If Lu Jinan brings me tea, Shen Qingchen is sure to bring me water. If Lu Jinan invites me to dinner, Shen Qingchen will definitely fetch me clothes. When Shen Qingchen asks me to accompany him to the underworld, Lu Jinan looks at me with tearful eyes. Qingyun, go with him, I'll be fine. It's just that my soul feels unstable again, but I can endure it. Squatting on the highest rooftop in City A, I gloomily take a swig of baijiu mixed with beer. When will this kind of life ever end? Before I could continue wallowing in my emotions, Lu Jinan suddenly appeared behind me. Qingyun, what's the point of drinking alone here? I stir-fried your favorite spicy peanuts. Come on, I'll drink with you. Shen Qingchen flashed over as well. Lu Jinan, what are you scheming? Qingyun said she'd never eat peanuts again, and yet you stir-fried peanuts for her. You're really up to no good, aren't you, Qingyun? Ignore him. Look, I made Osmanthus cakes for you. You're the one up to no good. Didn't you know Qingyun complained of a toothache the day before yesterday? Who's up to no good knows it best. I found a miraculous remedy yesterday, and Qingyun's toothache has long been gone. She told me herself she likes sweets. What, didn't Qingyun tell you? Jealous, aren't you? What nonsense. How could I possibly be jealous? I gently set down the bottle and, while they were busy arguing heatedly, slipped away quietly. After hearing the two stories above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you liked this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.